Have you ever wondered what's stopping you from becoming the next Steve Jobs, an upgraded Elon Musk, or at the very least, someone who can post their accomplishments on LinkedIn without a little creative exaggeration? Is it a lack of capital? A lack of opportunity? The economy? I'm going to tell you a truth that's far more inconvenient. Chances are the biggest obstacle between you and the grandest version of yourself is that pile of dirty laundry in the corner of your room. Now don't click away. I'm not your mom, and this isn't a video about cleaning. That pile of clothes is just a symbol, a physical symptom of one of the most hilarious and tragic logical fallacies of modern humanity. We'll call it the Pajama-Clad Revolutionary Syndrome. This is the condition where a person can map out a 10-step plan to solve world hunger, design a disruptive, industry-changing app, or outline a detailed path to spiritual enlightenment, all while sitting on their bed with a laptop propped on their stomach, and their breakfast is the last half of a bag of chips from the night before. We all know this person. In fact, at some point, we are this person. You open your laptop, not to work, but to open 27 different browser tabs. One tab on how to build $1 million startup from scratch. One tab on the 10 habits of highly successful people. A tab for a Stanford AI course. A tab for one-way flights to Bali to find yourself. And, of course, a YouTube tab playing a video on how to stop procrastinating. The irony is so exquisite, it's almost a work of art. We consume information about taking action as a way to avoid actually taking action. It gives us this phantom sense of progress. Our brain is wired to love the feeling of completing something. And unfortunately, crafting the perfect plan to change the world feels almost as satisfying as actually doing it. Except it's a million times easier and doesn't require you to change out of your sweatpants. Let's break this down. Why is this trap so sweet? Because the world of big ideas is shiny and safe. In your head, your startup is already secured its Series C funding and is poaching top talent. In your head, the novel you're planning to write is already on the New York Times bestseller list. In your head, you're a philanthropist, an inventor, an icon. There's no risk. No brutal rejection emails, no bug-ridden code at 3 a.m., and most importantly, no chance of failure. But reality? Reality is that the first step to building a startup isn't designing the logo. It's probably answering that one boring email you'd been ignoring for 3 days. The first step to writing a novel isn't daydreaming about the book signing. It's writing one sentence. Just one. Even a terrible one. The first step to changing the world might just be clearing off your desk so you have the space to think clearly. We've built a massive industry on this logical flaw. The self-help industry, the online courses, the productivity gurus. They sell us the dream, the system, the color-coded, feature-packed project management app, and we eagerly buy in. We spend hours setting up the perfect Notion system with nested databases, color-coded tags, and automated templates, only to end up using it to track our Netflix queue. We have turned the act of preparing to work into a full-time job. We're like an athlete who spends all year buying the best gear, the most advanced shoes, the slickest apparel, but never actually goes for a run. The tragedy of the Pajama-Clad Revolutionary isn't their big ambitions. Ambition is fantastic. The tragedy is the delusion that thinking about doing the work is a valid substitute for doing the work. It's a form of mental fraud. We want the rewards of action without paying the price of effort. Think about this in the workplace. Who's the person who always has the game-changing ideas in brainstorming meetings? It's the idea guy. He'll say things like, "We need to be disruptive. We need to think outside the box. Why don't we integrate blockchain and AI into our pizza delivery process?" It sounds amazing. Everyone nods in approval, but when the meeting ends and someone asks, okay, so what's the first concrete step? Who's writing the proposal? The idea guy has usually vanished because execution is too small, too mundane for his grand vision. He loves the idea of launching a rocket to Mars, but he hates calculating the fuel. So what's the way out? Should we just give up on our big dreams and accept a life of mediocrity? No, absolutely not. The way out, ironically, lies in the very small things we dismiss. Try an experiment. The next time you feel that surge of inspiration to reshape the future of humanity, stop, stand up, and go make your bed. Fold the comforter neatly. Next, go do the dishes that are in the sink. Then, answer the most annoying email in your inbox. These actions seem to have nothing to do with changing the world, but they do something incredibly important. They prove to your brain that you are a person of action. You are someone who can start and finish a task. You create a chain of small wins. Every tiny job completed is a piece of evidence that you can exert control over your own reality. Confidence doesn't come from reading 100 self-help books. It comes from accumulating evidence that you are reliable, and the first person you need to prove that to is yourself. If you can't manage your own small physical space, how can you possibly manage a team, a project, a company? If you can't keep a promise to yourself about going to bed on time, how can a client or a partner trust your promises? The order in your room, strangely enough, reflects the order in your mind. A chaotic environment often leads to chaotic thoughts. This isn't a call for perfectionism. You don't need a room that looks like it's from an architectural magazine. It's a call for agency and responsibility at the micro level. It's about building a foundation of integrity with yourself before you try to save the world. The world is full of great thinkers with unfinished plans. What it really needs are doers. People who don't just talk about building a bridge, but are willing to mix the cement and lay the first brick, even when it's raining. So, the next time you have $1 million idea, a life-altering plan, don't rush to open a new tab to research it. Look around your room. Is there one thing you can do right now, in under 5 minutes, to make it a slightly better place? Maybe it's watering that plant, clearing your desk, or just throwing out that empty pizza box. Because changing the world doesn't start with a big bang. It starts with a small, deliberate action. It starts by proving that you're not just capable of dreaming of a better future, but that you're willing to do the boring work required to make it real. The final question I want to leave you with isn't what is your biggest dream? That's the easy part. The real question is, what did you do today, no matter how small, to be worthy of that dream?